Shan Chen.
Good morning, everyone. Today, we are deeply honored to invite Dr. Lisa Su, Chairwoman and CEO of AMD, for Commonwealth's 45th Anniversary Summit. In the world of high-performance computing, her name is already in the Hall of Fame. She has been recognized as one of the most influential leaders in the world. She has been the first woman to receive SIA Rubber Noise Award, which is the highest honor in semiconductor industry. And I think another achievement is she broke the glass ceiling that even Dr. Maurice Strong faced at Texas Instruments. She was the very first Asian American CEO in the mainstream semiconductor giant. After taking the CEO position in 2040, Dr. Su boldly bet on the new architecture concept, the chiplet. I think 2 years ago, Lisa Su was very surprised about everyone, even in the market, people know about CoWoS. I say after today, people know chiplet. She strategically chose the TSMC as her foundry partner. I think these two decisions to transform AMD from a struggling company into a global powerhouse. Today, AMD stands at the forefront of the AI revolution. This year is 2026. If we look back 10 years later, this year will be a critical and exciting, interesting year in AI history. Why? Many believe 26 will be marked as the year one of agentic AI. As we watching AI move from the training stage to the inference stage. In the new stage, we will run many AI models simultaneously in the same time. So we need a CPU to act as a traffic cop to keep everything moving smoothly. According to Dr. Su's forecast, in the training stage, we need 8 GPU to 1 CPU in a rack. But in the proportion will change in the inferior stage. So this is the perfect timing for AMD with a full range of high-performance computing products. And most importantly, AMD collaborate deeply across the entire ecosystem, from chips to PC to servers. As we know, the most complete AI ecosystem is right here in Taiwan. And today, a lot of Taiwan team members are right now here in this room. So this is why Dr. Su is so special and so unique and the best speaker for this forum today. Unlike competitors who prefer the closed system, I know he has changed a little bit. But Dr. Su bet on the open ecosystem. After 12 years at the top, she believes no one can win alone. So I think I already talked too much. This time, please join me to welcome Dr. Lisa Su on the stage. I think the audience can understand how nervous I am because my major is economics. My major coverage in the past 30 years is economics and finance. Right now, I just learned within 1 month to learn everything about semiconductor industry. It's so hard.
It's very impressive. Thank you.
So maybe we can start from your newest press release yesterday, because you mentioned, you announced one is you are going to invest $10 billion in advanced packaging companies in Taiwan, and another is adopting TSMC's 2-nanometer process technology. So I think the people want to understand. Could you elaborate more about your two announcements?
So first of all, it's great to be here this morning. Thank you to Commonwealth Magazine and for everyone to be here. It's always so exciting to come to Taiwan. I always feel that there's so much energy and there's no other place in the world that has so much semiconductors in a small, very small area. But yes, it's been a very exciting week for us, and we're in this time right now where the semiconductor market and the AI market has never been growing faster. Every month, we're surprised by how much growth there is. And every time we look at the usage of the technology, we're convinced that this is the highest growth time for the market. And as a result, for AMD, our strategy is to lead in high performance and AI computing. And to do that, we must have a very strong supply chain, and we must have very strong partners. So we've been working very closely with all of our partners here in Taiwan. Yesterday, we hosted a customer symposium with over 150 of our partners, and many are in the room today. And our announcements this week are two. The first announcement is around the progress that we've made with TSMC. So TSMC has been a tremendous partner for AMD, and I would say is a key reason that we have been so successful. And what we wanted to be was the first to really ramp 2 nanometer HPC technology. So we're happy to announce that our newest CPU chip, Venice, has started its production ramp here in 2 nanometer. So it was very exciting for that. And then the second piece is around the supply chain. So I think all of us in the industry recognize that this is the time we have to invest, because we need to have enough capacity for the next 1, 2, 3 years, but it's a lot of investment that's required. So AMD is partnering with a number of companies here in the Taiwan ecosystem because we're leading in advanced packaging and we're leading in high performance computing. We are co-investing to build both the technology and the capacity about over $10 billion for, if you think about all of the advanced packaging, substrates, test capacity, rack scale integration. And first of all, it's a big vote of confidence for this is the place where the technology is the best. And it's also very important for AMD's long-term growth. So thank you for all of the incredible support here.
So Dr. Su, I want to follow up because I'm a journalist. Let me clarify. You said you want to collaborate with advanced packaging. So how will you participate? Is it share the cost, research cost, or?
Yeah, we do. So if you look at our technology, we have been very aggressive in the use of 2.5D technology, CoWoS technology, EFB technology. We're also very aggressive in using 3D technology. And for all of those technologies, we are very often the first user to use it at volume. So we collaborate with the ecosystem and we ensure that we're making investments upfront to have the capacity available as we ramp over the next several years. And as we have seen, the demand keeps going up. And so we're asking our partners to ramp faster, and we should absolutely share in that investment.
I see. Okay, so that's clear right now. So since you mentioned the packaging and also the processing company like TSMC, I want to understand what's your forecast. What opportunity do you see in the Taiwan semiconductor ecosystem in the next 5 years?
Well, I think what is so special about the Taiwan semiconductor ecosystem is it has every part of the ecosystem, starting from the basic materials all the way through the advanced process technology to the back-end technology to the systems, our OEM and our ODM partners, and now building to rack scale manufacturing. All of those pieces need to work very closely together. And the only place in the world that has all of it together is right here in Taiwan. So we all view that this is really the center of the advanced technology that we're bringing out. I think what's different today, I would say, is in addition to needing the overall, let's call it end-to-end, we're also finding the need to have manufacturing capabilities around the world. And so many of the partners in the Taiwan ecosystem are now also expanding outside of Taiwan. And I think that's a really good thing because semiconductors are so important to the world. Having the geographic capability is very important.
Just as you mentioned, that a lot of companies right now start to go global. Originally, semiconductor industry are all in Taiwan. So what's your suggestion to those companies that are going global?
As I said, I think it's a very important thing. What we're finding is maybe 10 years ago, semiconductors were viewed as very special. So only very technical people understood or very, kind of specific. Now, if you look at everywhere, either you're talking about businesses or you're talking about countries, everyone sees the semiconductors as essential. It's the most important kind of baseline foundation for computing. And as a result, I think for our Taiwan colleagues, because you have such a special capability, being able to participate more in the global ecosystem is actually a really good thing. I know it's not that easy because every country has its different way of doing things. But I think it is very worthwhile to participate in that global ecosystem. Certainly, I can say in the US, it's very clear that the US is trying to build more manufacturing capability. That doesn't mean there's any way that the US can build all manufacturing capability. It's impossible. There's just too much requirement. But it does mean that having a very diverse ecosystem, I think, is a good thing. And for those of our partners that are building around the world, we're certainly supporting all of that.
But as you mentioned, it's quite difficult, challenging for a lot of companies, especially in the management skills, right? So any suggestion to the companies for the management?
Well, my view is that I never saw any sort of leadership team or capability more capable than the leadership teams of our Taiwan colleagues.
Wow.
So very, very capable. I like to say where there's an ambition, you can find a way. And there's also the desire, really, by all of us to help bring up that ecosystem. I can tell you, for example, for TSMC in Arizona, many people did not believe that the Arizona fab could be as good as Taiwan. And frankly, it was not easy. But we're currently running production in TSMC's Arizona fab, and it is excellent. And it's excellent because a lot of the practices and procedures were transferred from the learning. And I think that's what we do. We learn and help each other.
Okay, great. Actually, during the past, when we get into the ballroom, and I asked asked Lisa what's her feeling about the Taiwan supply chain, and she gave me a very unique answer. She said that Taiwan partners are frankly competitors. Could you say that again to the audience?
Okay, so Yishan was asking me, what do I think is different about the Taiwan ecosystem? And I mentioned that last night, every year, I actually bring my leadership team here together to meet with our most important customers and partners. And it's an opportunity for us to talk about our latest priorities and our technologies, but its biggest reason is to appreciate and say thank you. So we had a very nice banquet last night, and everybody is so friendly. Everyone loves each other. Even if they're competitors, it doesn't matter.
So cool. I asked why. What's your explanation about why people are so friendly to each other, even enemies?
I didn't say enemies. You said enemies.
I say that.
No, I think the why is, actually, I really believe this. I think we grew up together. When I say we, I think the entire team, when I think about, I see in the audience, Emily and Jeff and Menis, we grew up together, right? We grew up when, as I said, 10 years ago, people didn't care so much about semiconductors. People don't even understand what is high-performance computing or what is rack-scale integration. But we were working hard at that point, and now what I'm really happy to see is all of our friends and colleagues are so successful because the time is right. The time right now with the technology, the capability, and then I think the spirit of the entire Taiwan ecosystem is such that there's so much success, and I think that's a really good thing.
Yeah, that's good things. So let me back to the title of this summit, is AI Everywhere. So I think in your CES speech, you mentioned you give a very big and broad expectation about you said that we will see 100 times increase in compute capacity and user growth from 1 billion to 5 billion within 5 years. So could you explain what's the driving that level of expansion?
So I believe that AI is the most important technology that has occurred over, let's call it the last 50 years. And we've had a lot of other technologies, like when the mobile phone came out, we thought it was very special, and when cloud computing came out, we thought it was very special. But AI is actually different than that. The reason AI is different, I believe, is we have found a technology that everybody can benefit from. Every single person can use it, every single company can use it, every single sort of area can really benefit from AI. And so when I say AI everywhere, I think the vision that we see is that over the next 3, 5, 10 years, everything that we can do can be made better with AI. And you should see AI everywhere, in every device that we have, in every application that we have. And that type of proliferation, of course, it's good for business, no question, but I think it's really good for humanity. And that's why I think AI everywhere. It's AI everywhere for everyone that I think should be our guiding principle for the technology area.
So you create a new trend, AI everywhere for everyone. So, but I think people are curious about your expectation about the next phase of compute demands. We discussed a lot about cloud. How about edge compute? So cloud versus edge compute, and also the training versus inferencing. Could you give us some expectation about that?
Yes. So if you think about 2 or 3 years ago, when we first saw the beginning of the AI expansion, it was really a few companies that were really spending all of the effort and all of the money around AI for training. So training these large language models, sort of ChatGPT or Claude or Gemini or any of the Chinese models required a lot of computing power for training. But the truth is, nobody really makes money on training. Training is necessary, but it's not where you see the return on investment. Where you see the return on investment is people using the technology, or inference. And inference is, okay, you can ask this morning, what's the weather this morning? You can ask these very simple questions, and you start to see some inference. But that's not really the power. You said it earlier. I think what we're seeing now is that AI is not only entering inference, but it's entering the time when you can do really smart things. And you can ask the AI to solve complex problems, and those problems will actually help you significantly change the way you can build products, change the way you can run your companies, change the way we can discover science, and all of these types of things. So I think that is a change that we're seeing. It's been very fast. That's what's different about the current cycle. Usually, technology doesn't change so fast. Usually it changes in maybe a couple of years, you see changes. Now we're seeing every couple of months the technology is different and the capability is different. And the models are getting so much better. It's still very early in the cycle. It's still not good enough, But every few months, you're seeing so much progress that that's what's driving the demand.
So, also in the introduction, I say you have a forecast about 8 GPUs to 1 GPUs in the past.
That's very technical for a finance journalist.
Thank you. How about when will we see the 1 GPU to 1 CPU?
Actually, pretty soon. Pretty soon. I think the key thing, if you think about GPUs or CPUs, the details are not that important, but the higher level point is everyone gets so excited about GPUs. The last few years, GPUs have grown so much. And my fundamental principle is when you're trying to enable AI everywhere, you need every kind of computing. And now you're starting to see that. So you're starting to see CPUs grow. You're starting to see also some ASICs grow. And as I said, the timing is actually pretty fast. Right now, I would say that we're seeing more and more agentic AI. The way to think about agentic AI, if I can give you a picture in your mind, Ishan, is you have, today, you're a wonderful, very capable journalist, but you have to do your own research. And maybe your ChatGPT or your AI can help you research Lisa Su. Actually, she did very good research. I think she knew everything I ever said, ever.
10 years.
Even I did not remember who I talked to, but she told me that I said this to this person. But if you had 10 agents, then you can actually, you can do all of that at one time.
You don't know I use Gemini.
You can still have 10 agents. Okay. Or you could have, when we think about what's the most exciting thing in our world is using AI to build chips faster. So right now, for a very advanced chip, it may take us 2 or 3 years from beginning to end. If I can cut that in half, if we can cut that in half, that means we can build many more products and satisfy much more of the demand in the market. So I think that's the power that we're looking for.
Thanks. I think next question I will going to ask about the bottleneck, because of the supply chain is a shortage of the CPU and a lot of HBMs. What's the biggest bottleneck you think for the AI supply chain right now, and how to address this issue?
Well, I think we see bottlenecks everywhere. Wouldn't you say just about everywhere?
I think Emily not.
But they're being solved quickly. So the thing about the semiconductor supply chain also is this is a very aggressive, very capable supply chain, which once you see a bottleneck, you find a way to solve it. So yes, I think today there's a lot of concern about, for example, memory tends to be in a bit of a shortage today, which is true. But there are ways to solve that as well. You know, CPUs, we're ramping up capacity very much, so we ask all of our partners to help us. Other bottlenecks include just power. As we think about, you know, power in the various places, you know, we need to be able to build data centers and capabilities. I don't think it's any one bottleneck. I think together, what we're seeing is that we didn't quite predict the demand to go up this fast. And we're all so excited, we want to catch up to that demand, and so we're working very hard to solve those bottlenecks, and I think we're making great progress. So from our standpoint, I think the entire ecosystem, I have to say, a big thank you, because everybody is making great progress to bring on more capacity. And the foundation is very positive, which is the world needs more AI computing, and we're able to deliver that with the entire ecosystem together.
Since we mentioned the bottleneck, I think that 3 years ago you promoted AIPC in COMPUTEX, but I think there's quite a delay a little bit. So I just wonder, what's your forecast about AIPC in the future? I'm
actually very optimistic about AIPCs. I think with new technology, it always takes a little bit of time. So the beginning AI PCs, you could not see the real application usage that easily. It was only for experts. But I would say today, the most interesting thing about AI PCs is we all have our need for AI, but we also care a lot about privacy. We don't want everybody to see our personal information, so you don't want to send it somewhere. And you also want it to be local, so you don't always have to connect to the cloud. And frankly, the cloud can be very, very expensive if you think about it as well. So I think AI PCs for developers, for personal usage, for local enterprise usage will be a good growth vector over the next few years.
But beyond PC?
Oh, I really think the next big wave is physical AI. So robotics and using all of the capability in the edge is actually also an opportunity, whether you're talking about industrial and manufacturing environments or other local environments going forward.
Lisa, as a journalist, I think people will always try to ask the question and get accurate answers. But for you, I feel like you always talk about the trends. It's really hard to give an accurate timeline about when things happen.
What kind of accurate answer would you like?
For example, we will see AI PC growth like 20% in next year or next 2 years, something like that.
Let me think. My PC head is sitting in the audience. I should ask Jack, what should we say? I think we will definitely see AI PC growth, without a doubt. Significant double-digit growth in AI PCs. The exact number is not so important.
Yes. I keep hitting that.
Yes, the important thing is, are we investing in the right places? And what I will say for sure is nobody should doubt that AI PCs will be important. And the more AI computing that we put at the edge, the more we can get that AI everywhere vision to become a reality.
Yeah, maybe we can follow up with social issues, because you mentioned eventually we have the AI and everywhere and even in the edge. So before that, what kind of preparation you think the companies or the society can prepare for that, especially for the employer or the company management?
Probably one of the things that I recommend when we think about how to use AI is we actually have to think about overall AI strategy from a high level, not just a very low level. In other words, some people think, oh, is AI going to take away people's jobs? So should I be worried that on the employee side that your jobs will be less, or on the business side, oh, I can save so much money? That's two ways to look at it. I think that's actually the small part of AI. The big part of AI is how can I do something very differently? And that means that you have to retrain your workforce. So for example, at AMD, we are actually educating every single person about how to use the AI tools and how to change the way we internally build our products or do our sales, do our marketing. I think every company has to think about how do you educate your employees? How do you ensure that you put the right tools in place? Of course, AI is not always right. Actually, many times it's not right. So you still have to have the right checks in place, because at the end of the day, the company is responsible for what type of information they put out. And so there's a lot of things that one has to think about.
But I know, when did AMD start to ask the employees to think about how to use AI?
Well, we have been doing that for the last 18 months, but particularly the last 12 months, I think we've been much more aggressive in terms of helping to train employees. Not employees are interested, but actually to have a real training program. an education program.
So could you give examples of what kind of education program you provide in AMD inside?
We have, basically you would take a class, it might be an online class, and there were very different levels of the class. So there's basic level, then there is, if you're a specific type of engineer, you would take this type of class, and if you're more sales and marketing, you have a different type of tools. But it's different by tools because this is actually, we're all learning together. I don't think any of the framework is finished yet. We're all learning together how to be more productive with the use of AI.
Nice. So maybe move to another part is partnering together. So I think AMD is very strong advocate for open system. So I just wonder, because you opened the standard through like initial several initiatives like ROCON and UA Links, I think you are the strong advocate. Do you think the AI hardware industry will repeat like PC industry? I mean, for the PC industry, people have a Wintel standard. So every company can participate according to the fixed standards. That's why Taiwan PC ICT industry grow. So what do you think about AI hardware industry?
Yeah, I'm a big believer in open ecosystem. And the reason for that is our philosophy is that there's no one company that has all of the best ideas. In fact, there's no one product that's a best product, and the best way for us to provide all of the technology that's required in the world is for us to have an open ecosystem, which means hardware is open, you can use different types of hardware for each application, and with that you need the right software capability as the right standards. I do think that you will have some open ecosystem, and then you will also have some closed ecosystem. But in the end, the open ecosystem is very, very powerful. And we want that individual companies can differentiate and have their special sauce, but we all still are able to work together.
So do you think the dual standards will coexist?
I think so. So if you think even today in the PC ecosystem, you have sort of the Apple ecosystem, which is more of a vertical integrated hardware, software system, and then you have the PC ecosystem, which is more open, which has all kinds of hardware vendors, all type of system vendors. And both have their merits, but in this case, I think open ecosystem will grow faster.
Open system will grow faster. So you think if here is a lot of supply chain members, if they try to participate, what's your suggestion to the open ecosystem?
Well, I think we always talk about how can we leverage let's call it a reference design and capability, but still allow individual differentiation so that companies can show what is their unique value.
So I think the next question is about still follow the PC industry, PC history. Because in the PC history, people say the Wintel, the standard setting person, and the computer brand get the most value. So what's the value chain you think in AI hardware industry? Who will gain the most?
Well, by the way, I should say something. I think AMD share is actually pretty good in the market these days.
Do I need to check with the audience?
Well, I could say that the thing about the open ecosystem is you will have different types of vendors. For example, today in processors, you have x86, you have ARM, you have a number of vendors. It depends on the application, which one is the most, which one fits the application best. So this is back to this notion of, this is a really, really big market. The way you should think about it is this world is completely different than the quote-unquote Wintel model from 10 years ago. This is, we see the semiconductor total market right now is over $1 trillion, and we can see very significant growth rate over the next 5 years. I don't think there's going to be one answer for all of that. It's just impossible. There's too many applications, there's too much work to do, which makes it a great place for all of us to find what are the things that we are going to be best at. Like, for example, in AMD case, we don't say that we're the best at everything, but we know that our focus is to be the best at high-performance computing and AI. But there are some areas where we are not spending so much time, like, for example, smartphones, those are not our areas. But they will also need AI. They will just use AI with a different computing.
So since you mentioned it's a huge market ahead, so I think a lot of companies want to join this big wave. So in your opinions, what's the key successful factors if they can join this wave?
I think it is a very, very big wave. And I think the key successful factor is, as always with any technology company, you build the technology over time. You cannot build it in 6 months or even in 12 months. It usually takes 3 to 5 years to have a strong vision and then to be able to find that place. So I think for people starting, it's to find the places where you can make the most impact. But I think what I said earlier is true, is for those of us who have been in this industry for a long time, I think we should feel confident. People sometimes talk about AI bubble. They ask all the time, can this be real? Should we really invest so much right now? And my answer is, this is definitely real. And we are still so early. Like the way we view the current opportunity is, I would say, if you think about a baseball game, maybe we're in the 3rd inning of still 9 innings. And that means that there's still a lot of innovation to happen and a lot of opportunity for all of us in the ecosystem.
As you mentioned, it maybe takes like 3 to 6 years. It led me to think about your experience in AMD when you took the office in 2014, and you did 2 big decisions, and you create the Zen architect. It's a new chiplet architect. During that period, I think it took 5 years to have this finished. During that period, how do you pass through all the suffering and the bad days?
Suffering?
Yeah. A lot of speculants.
I don't know that I would say that. What I would say is, when I took over as CEO of AMD, many people asked me, why do you believe you can be successful? We had big competition, maybe there were many more engineers, many more resources. The reason that I fundamentally believe that we could be successful is, technology is one of those places where you kind of have to see ahead of the curve. And we were pretty sure that high-performance computing was going to be important. And there's very few companies that can actually build high-performance computing chips and capabilities. And so we believed that we could do it, but we had to do it in a different way, and we couldn't do the same thing that the entire industry was doing. So we made a bet. We made 2 bets. Actually, you said them very well. The first bet was a bet on TSMC. And I think that's turned out to be a really great bet for us. And
Still bet yesterday.
And the second was that the silicon technology was getting so complicated that you needed to break it up into pieces and really rely on advanced packaging. Even though advanced packaging was still new and chiplets were still new, that was our bet. And in the end, I think now the entire industry is using this advanced technology.
So you forget the period during the 5 years?
I think what I had was, I had the luxury of a very supportive board.
Nice.
So I told my board that it's going to take 5 years. And we also had a team that really believed in what we were doing. So I think those two things were very helpful.
Okay, great. So because I say that people say CoWoS is popular in Taiwan, so maybe I can give you a chance to make chiplet popular in Taiwan. So how will you explain chiplet?
The best way I can explain chiplets, it's actually not hard. It's not hard. For anyone who has heard of Moore's Law, right, everyone says Moore's Law is slowing down. When you try to keep making things smaller, you actually can't. You can't yield it, it's too expensive, and all of those things are true. So the idea of chiplets is instead of building one big chip, you cut up your chip into small chiplets, and you put them back together with advanced packaging. And today, our most advanced chip we call MI450. It's our newest chip. It's just starting to go into production in the second half of this year. It's over 300 billion transistors, and it has, I don't know, maybe over 20 chiplets that we put together. And when I went to school, when I was getting my PhD, I thought this kind of technology could never work. Actually, I thought it was so hard to do this, but it's amazing when you really see the engineering capability that we have been able to build, that the industry ecosystem, this is not AMD, it's the industry ecosystem has found a way to make these successful.
We actually collect questions from the audience. The one question is about what's the next breakthrough of the chiplet you can give us, sure.
Well, I think what we'll see going forward is instead of talking about chips, we really need to talk about systems. And the systems means we have to integrate all of these capabilities together. So includes all of the processing, some of the networking, and I think we are looking forward to how that looks, including optics and technologies to come together. So the idea is how do we keep putting more and more capability in a single system.
So that's why you have the 10 billion investment yesterday, is that?
That is one very big reason.
I see, okay. So maybe we can move to, because we have 5 minutes left. So I want to explore some leadership issues with you. You are really in this position for 12 years. Well, how will you define the leadership right now?
How do I define leadership right now? I would say that the most interesting part of being CEO of AMD is how much every few years we're actually running a different company. Because the technology is completely changing, the scale is completely changing. When I first started as CEO, our company revenue was about 4 billion. And last year, our company revenue was 35 billion. So it's a lot more people, it's a lot more customers, but it's also a much bigger, what I really enjoy is to see the technology have an impact on the world.
So you like change?
I like change. I don't like to get bored. How is that?
Okay.
Yeah.
So because you mentioned that you have a lot of employees right now, any plan in Taiwan you will increase your staff here?
Our staff here has gotten very big. I can see some of my team
I heard it's like 1,000 right now.
We have over 1,800 people in Taiwan right now across 10 sites. So even in the last few years, we've added 5 additional sites. And we do a lot of R&D here in Taiwan, particularly with our Taiwan ecosystem partners. And it's some of our most capable people in terms of really bringing up our latest technologies are here in Taiwan.
I asked the question because your competitor just said overseas headquarters in Taiwan. Do you think about that?
I think we have a very, very big presence in Taiwan, so that's a good thing.
Okay, there's another kind of answer. So my final question. I think as I told in the beginning, I think the female leaders in semiconductor industry is quite rare. I think even after you, I don't see anyone in the mainstream semiconductor industry. So, but I think the first female businessman you met is your mother, So could you describe what you learned from her?
Yeah, so I get asked often about women in technology and all of those things. And let me start by saying that I think engineering is a great profession for women. And the reason it's a great profession for women is it doesn't care whether you're male or female. It only cares whether you have good ideas or bad ideas. And if you have really great ideas, you can really make a difference. So that's how I think about women in technology. But you mentioned my mother. So my parents were born in Tainan and immigrated to the United States when I was very young. I was also born in Tainan. And my mother was, I would consider a pretty amazing person.
Yeah, she is.
She immigrated to the United States with my father, and she really didn't know what she's getting into, and she didn't, my father went to graduate school, and she didn't really speak English well, but she, brought up her kids. They wanted to come to the United States because it was a good for us, my brother and myself. And somehow, when I was in, I don't know, maybe 10 or 12 years old, my mother decided that she was going to start her own business. So she decided to be an entrepreneur in the United States without having any background in starting her own business. So she started it from scratch, and she built it up into a multi-million-dollar business. And she would often say, Lisa, someday you have to come join me in the business.
Not to your brother?
Not to my brother, only to me.
Why?
I don't know,
Have you ever asked?
And actually, she would say this even after I went to AMD. She would also say this. Yeah. And she would discuss her business problems with me, and I would, we would discuss our business problems together. And
Nice.
then finally, when I became CEO of AMD, she said, oh, maybe you won't come back to my business. So I think role models are very important, and I think it says a lot about if you have a dream and you have hard work and vision, then you can accomplish almost anything. So thank you for asking about my mother.
I ask because Commonwealth is founded by a woman. So we can fully understand if we have a dream, we can accomplish a lot of things, no matter what gender you are. So I think we all will run out our question and 1 hour time. So please give Dr. Lisa Su a big applause.
Thank you.
Thank you very much to Yishan and Dr. Lisa Su. We're going to do another photo on the stage, and we will have to remove the chairs. So would you please stand up and wait on the side for just a bit? Thank you very much. 我们再次谢谢我们的 Dr. Lisa Su 苏博士以及Yishan呢带来这么精彩的对谈哦。Yes, some takeaways from the talk. Keep working hard. Keep solving problems. Keep investing in the right place, and we'll continue to turn visions into reality. 我们再次谢谢 Lisa 以及Yishan呢带来这么精彩的这个分享哦，针对 AI 的趋势以及我们如何共创产业的新未来。那接下来呢，我们要邀请几位昌明道的贵宾到台上来一起合影 ，OK？And now， 我们的同仁是带领我们的2位贵宾到合照的定位。那同时呢，我们要有请玉山金控暨玉山银行黄南洲董事长 joining us on the stage for the group photo. We'd also like to welcome Joseph Huang, Chairman of Esam Financial Holding Company and Esam Bank. 微影科技洪丽宁董事长及策略长 Emily Hong, Chair and Chief Strategy Officer of WeWin. Semi 国际半导体产业协会全球行销长、台湾区曹世伦总裁 Terry Cao Global Chief Marketing Officer President of Taiwan SME， 以及我们天下杂志的2位共同执行长，有请万瑜共同执行长以及叶云共同执行长 ，and also co-CEOs 万宇乌 and Yun Ye of Commonwealth Magazine. Would you please also join us on the stage for the group photo? 好的，我们先看向前方大会摄影师的镜头。Please look the camera in front of you first. OK， 那接下来我们在拍一张之后，我们再看向后方的媒体的镜头。All right， OK， All right， one more， 3, 2, 1。好，接下来我们试试看向 to the cameras in the very back， 我们看向后方我们媒体镜头。OK， 看向 to your right， 看向右边。And then to your left， 看向左边。好，我们最后再回到中间 ，and back to the middle one more time. 3, 2, 1。好，我们再次给我们台上的贵宾苏姿丰博士一个掌声。Thank you once again to Dr. Lisa Su, and thank you so much for being such a perfect role model for so many of us here. Thank you once again. 我们再次给 Lisa 一个掌声。Let's hear it for Lisa one more time.